Philippe Le Corre is a senior fellow with the Harvard Kennedy School's Mossavar-Rahmani Center for Business and Government. He recently wrote a paper for the Carnegie Endowment for International Peace titled China's Rise as a Geo-Economic Influencer, and used Portugal as one of the case studies. We spoke about Portugal-China ties.
Well, I think Portugal obviously is this hub of Portuguese language countries. That is something that China has always been intrigued by. But it's also, a member of the European Union, a country on the edge of Europe, of the European continent. So there's obviously, links with the maritime Silk Road.
You mentioned location. Portugal just signed a memorandum of understanding on China's Belt and Road Initiative. Much has been discussed regarding a port there in Portugal. How significant is this support for Belt and Road by a European country?
Chinese companies, particularly Cusco, have been investing in many ports around the world, and in Europe in particular. There's the example of the Piraeus port in Greece, but there are other examples such as in Valencia in Spain, and there are ports in Italy, Israel, Turkey. So this port in Portugal is not, it's not in the same. It's not on the Mediterranean. Obviously, Portugal is not on the Mediterranean Sea, but it's a link to the Atlantic, and it's an area which Portugal would like to develop furthermore. And obviously there are not many candidates to do that. So obviously, China is interested in getting involved. China has some experience, expertise. Now, on the long run, I don't know. Well, the deal seems to be happening, but I don't know, how it will develop and how, Portugal will benefit from this new developed port if it does happen.
Well, in Portugal caps off a four-country diplomatic tour. President Xi visited Spain, Argentina, and Panama as well, signing multiple agreements. And then we also saw this pause in the U.S.-China trade war. So what would you say are some of the biggest takeaways from this four-nation trip?
So generally, it shows that the Chinese president is very active on the international scene. Obviously, the most important of these four visits was the one to Argentina and the meeting with Donald Trump, because the trade war is hitting both the U.S. and Chinese economy. And the takeaways are hard to, conclude at the moment, because you hear different things depending if you're in Beijing or in Washington. So I would say it's a mixed bag. Certainly the Portuguese visit perhaps was the most successful of the four, but the most significant part was the high-level meeting, because at least the two leaders, the American president and the Chinese president, were able to sit around the table and to discuss these trade issues, which are probably fundamental for their economies as well as the rest of the world.